So today I'm going to show you how to make this lovely tag. It's for in my Water Babies journal. It's a flat tag because I don't want the journal to be too bulky. And I'm really pleased with it, how it turned out. It is a mixed media project. So please have a look at what I've done and some of the paint effects, etc. that I've used. So please follow on and watch. Thank you. So here we are. Let me show you what I do with my scraps. I tend to have a box of scraps going at the side of me when I'm doing a project, which is here. I just throw my bits and pieces in there. However, every now and again, and I try to do it as the box is filling up, I use a book like this one. Just remove these, and I stick my scraps in. So, not that one. And yeah, let's show you. Here we are, and I just stick my scraps in, and I put colours together that I quite like together. Sometimes I do both sides, so I've done this side ready really for the back of a tag. And then when I'm doing a project where I think, oh yeah, those colours match in. So this is off some silks. So just stick any sort of bits and bobs in. So when I see a page and think, oh, those are the perfect colours for my project, then I'll tear it out. This one, I haven't stuck anything on the back yet. That's the original pages. And these are the pages, the original pages. Yeah, they're very nice as well. I agree. However, I wanted a book with sort of good quality paper in it. And that I could stick these on and that they would make good quality tags. I also will just sort of stick some pieces of paper together, or these are stuck on the back of an A4 sheet of eco dyed paper, because I think that will make great backs of tags. In fact, I think I might use this one today. Let me show you the others. So these I've stuck on, and then I've stuck some tissue over the top, and that's how I've sort of got this little sort of misted effect. You see there's the tissue that I've stuck over the top. And then I put a plain back on that, ready for use as a tag. This one, you can see I put some fibres on, and I put part of a window envelope on. So I just sort of look and take whatever I have. These pieces of paper, I didn't stick onto anything. I just stuck them onto each other and built up that page. So I literally started, say, with one piece and then just kept adding more pieces onto it and built it out. Same with that one. This one I've put some vellum on there. So these I might use like this. I may stick it onto some plain paper. I will probably stitch around these edges to make them stronger. So they're like a Franken paper. Well, they are a Franken paper. This one I love. I've got the stamp on there as well. So like you can see, I'm putting colours that match and blend together. So some fibre on there, and I've PVA glued that down, made it hard onto there. There's the other side. So that's what I do with my bits and bobs of scraps. So at the minute I'm working through my scrap pile to try and reduce it and to make some tags for the Water Babies. Just let me have a little bit of a tidy up there. Right, so here we are. This is the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut the tags. Now this height is just perfect for my book, because it is quite a tall book. So the height of this is approximately 8 inches. So I want quite a substantial width tag. So I'll get my cutter. I bought a box of vintage ATC, artist trading cards. These were 2 that I thought would go in my Water Babies book. But I'll show you all, well, not I'll show you all of them because there's about 1,000, but I'll show you the box on another video. So right, let's cut this to the length that I want it. Let me just check it is square. Yes, it is. That's good. So I think I'll do these in like 3 inch. So they'll be 3 by 8. So let's just cut them. I like it when you cut them down as well, because you see your sheet like that, and when you cut them down, you start to get other effects. That's a great tag. Let's do this one. We'll do this one at 3. I'm going to do this one at 3. Or should I do this one? Actually measures 4.5. I'll do it. 2.5. I'll get a couple of narrow tags there. There we go. So I've got some narrower tags as well. The best thing with these, I could always, well, like that one, I could always, you know, add them to another page. So, for example, this one, I could always just add it onto there, glue it onto there, and start to develop this page further. Anyway, I'm going to make these 4 into tags. There we go. Let's give myself a little bit of room. And we'll start to work on the first one. So let's have a look. I think I'll use this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with my watercolours. So I've literally just got a really cheap watercolour set. Really cheap. We want this to be the Water Babies. So the main colours we're going to use will be the green. Let's just turn this. The green and the blue. I've also got in here some rubbing alcohol. So this is 99.9% pure. I've got my little sprayer of water. I've got a water, what's it called? What is it? Brush. So there's water in there. And I've got a little pipette as well to use with the rubbing alcohol. So first of all, I'm just going to moisten up my paints. I've got I want them really quite runny. My green and my blues. I might even put a bit of purple in there as well for the sea. Greens, bit of yellow. So I get those really as moist as I can do. And then I am going to start to put the paints on. So I'm just going to do what I would class as the sky. There, let's just get some more water on that. You can spray it on the actual whoops, helps if you point it the right way. Put it on the actual work. So let's get the sky there. Can you see it's quite wet? And at some point, that sky will meet the sea. So let's get the green. So put some green on. It's not very dark green. Let's put some more on. Oh, that's a bit better. So we've got the sea and the sky blending there. Let's put some of this other darker green on. And a little bit of yellow towards the bottom where it might become the sand. Put a bit of purple in this sea as well. A bit more. Oh, got blue then. I meant to get the green. A bit more green. There we go. We don't want to get that too muddy, do we? Right. So that is all nice and very, very moist. So what we do then is we get our rubbing alcohol, draw some up in the pipette, and we literally just drop it on. Can you see the magic happening before your eyes? Can you see the effect that we're starting to get now? The rubbing alcohol is causing that to spread. Put a bit more on the yellow. So what I need to do now is I need to allow that to dry, and I will come back to you in a few minutes. So as you can see, this is dried now, and you can see the effects. These circles are from dropping the rubbing alcohol onto the watercolour. So the watercolour paints. So with this being the water babies, it's given me a really nice effect. So what I was hoping is the sky, the sea, and a bit of yellow for the sand. So what I want to do now is I want to put some rocks onto there, and for that I'm going to use some vintage newspaper. Now this is some that I got from the River Thames when I did a bit of beach combing by the side of the River Thames on the foreshore there. And yes, you might say it's all in tiny pieces. How's that occurred? I'll tell you how that occurred. I put it on the conservatory floor, so it did look like similar to this. I put it, it was very wet, obviously from being in the River Thames, and I put it on the floor in my conservatory to dry, and the puppy just shredded it all up. So I looked at her to have stern words, and she looked back at me and just reminded me that she was a puppy, and that's her job. That was on her job description, to shred paper and cause havoc around the house. It actually is, though, very, very fragile newspaper. As you can see, it breaks quite easily. So I'm not sure the best way in which to use this, but we'll see, we'll see. So that's all in tiny pieces. And then when I was at a local area this week, I came across this newspaper. This is probably from the 1930s or so, and thought, yeah, I could use some of that. And this is softer and a little bit more pliable than the River Thames paper. So what I'm going to do, I want some like rocks on there, so I'm going to put some of this on to sort of indicate the rocks. Let's have a look. I like this sort of blue effect on there. Let's just tear that off. think this paper's like from the 1930s. From the edge of the tip that I went to where I got this, the old sort of tip. I could leave a little bit on like that, because it could be like a rock pool. Yeah, from where I did the sort of tip larking, mud larking, this was turn of the century, so turn of the 20th century. Let's have a look. That's a nice sort of light piece, isn't it? Actually, that could sort of go there, and then you get the different shades of rock. Do we want more like newspaper writing on? Yeah, I think that's quite nice. It's quite nice to have the text on there. So let's just glue that on. Yeah, Norma, our puppy, was warm yesterday. So she's calming down a bit now, but she's still up to all sorts of mischief and things, which, like I say, is part of the job description. When she does things, I mean, she's more disciplined now and learning, but she just gives you those eyes and you think, okay, it's on the job description, you win this time. Just going to stick that back on there because I like that bit of blue. I've loved sort of going investigating riverbanks, etc., because one, you found some amazing bottles and pipe stems and pipes and glass and buttons and all sorts. So fragile, this. Oh, it's just tearing under my glue stick. It says I'm 100 years old. I'm not designed to be used under a glue stick. I was never intentionally designed to use under a glue stick. So yeah, so I love doing that. But apart from the things that you do find, I love the like the mindfulness of it, because while you're spending your time looking at the floor and looking for things, it takes your mind off life in general, which might be easy to do it this way around. I'm going to put that way. Oh, let's put it the right way up. Yeah, it takes your mind off life in general, a bit like crafting does. It takes you to, you know, another place, and I think it is sort of, apart from my craft room, I think it's like next to my craft room, it's my second happy place. Now then, let's just be really careful on here. Oops. So I've got to a point now, wherever I go out for walks and things with Hub, I spend my life just looking at the floor. With Hub, I mean my husband. I spend my life looking at the floor, looking what I can find. My daughter, we've made a point of now once a week we go on some sort of mindfulness walk, so we can just see, reconnecting with nature. We're looking at the flowers, at the trees, at the colours, listening to the water if we're by the river, listening to the birds, listening to the wind rustle through the trees, all that sort of thing. And mindfulness walks are just so beautiful. I'm just going to cut that off there. We've both really benefited from them. Even when I was just in Sri Lanka then, I've just had 3 weeks in Sri Lanka. You might have seen some of my videos. When I was down on the beach, I spent time just mooching through the sand, seeing what I could find. And I did find lovely shells and pieces of shells, and yeah, so I carried it on even when I was on holiday. I'm still here. Right, there we go. So I think that that looks lovely as rocks. It's covered up most of that yellow though. Oh well, sand is covered up by rocks. Right, so next I want to put a bit of sea spray on. So I've got here the Picket Fence Distress Paint by Ranger. Just give that a shake. Yeah, so I think it's important to do these walks, just reconnect yourself with nature, because there's so much going on in the world at the moment. Oof, just, you can't turn on the news or the radio or TV or anything without seeing things that are happening. So, and not good things that are happening. There's not a lot of, doesn't seem to be much good happening in the world at the moment. So to do a mindfulness walk, I'll just pop that onto a toothbrush like that, and I'm literally just gonna spray the white on there. Can you see it going on there? Yeah, so you know, and if people are of particularly of an anxious disposition, it's not good. It just isn't beneficial to be listening to that all the time at all. Listening and watching. There's like so many man-made disasters, so many natural disasters. So that reconnection with nature and just thanking God or whoever you believe in for everything that we have is just so important. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to run it through my embossing machine. So I think that bit of sea spray on there just brings another dimension to this mixed media piece of artwork. Loving how this has turned out. I like the white on it. I like the effects of the watercolour and the rubbing alcohol. The old newspaper, I think, looks fab on there. I did put a few extra pieces just to give it a bit more definition. And now I've got a charcoal rod, I suppose you'd call it, and I'm just going to go around these edges just to give them a bit more definition and to break them up from the sea. So delicate, this paper. Got to be so careful. Well, it is over 100 years old, or almost 100 years old, so let's just go around some of these. Bits break off, but that doesn't really matter too much. It is what it is. Get a little rub over, and then just to seal that, I just use ordinary hairspray and just go over the charcoal just to seal it in. Right, I want to do a embossing on it. I found this embossing file with these shells on, so I want this side to have the embossing coming up. So you make sure that you put it opposite the sort of bit that goes down, as it were, on there. So this side will push the card up into place there. So I'm going to pop that in there like that. Sadly, it doesn't fit the whole length. I'm not sure where I got this from. There's no name on it. I think I got it, you know, in a magazine. Let's get my machine. Here we go. Do you know, I've been looking for that little elephant everywhere. There it is. Right. Make a bit of room. Put that into there. Put these on top. I never quite know how much to put in. Let's turn it. There we go. It goes, but it don't want to turn. Let's just take this piece out and put the thinner one in. To me, it's just a trial and error. There we go, I'm going through. I'll wind it. And I'll wind it back again. Let's have a look. Oh, perfect. I love that. I actually have done it the wrong way around. No, I haven't. I've got it. It is the right way around for what I wanted. Get the back there. Looks fab, doesn't it? And there's the front. So it's like embossed in. So we went up to there. So this is, let's have a look if I can match it up anywhere. That is actually there. There isn't another. Let's just put that there. There we go. So whatever you do when you put it through, use the same side. Saying that, you could use the other side if you want to. Put that in and turn. Now in another new craft room. So my first craft room used to be the study, and I grew out of it. So I moved to a spare bedroom, which I've grown out of. Things are starting to appear in other rooms of the house. So hubby, there was a sale of back garden, lovely garden summer houses. So hubby decided I needed a new bigger craft room. So who am I to complain and argue? There we go. Can you see that embossing on there? It's lovely. And on the other side, that is so pretty. Move this out of the way. Right, so now what I want to do is I want to make these rocks shiny because they are wet with the sea. So let's make them shiny. So I've got some diamond glaze, which I love to use this. It dries quick as well. And I'm just going to put a little bit in this little vintage paste jar. I do like using these little vintage bits and bobbies to put things in like diamond glaze. I've got a brush. So now I'm going to paint this very carefully onto the rocks. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful day today. And so my hubby is working on my beautiful craft room. So we've had the tree surgeon in. We've had to take some trees down. There was three trees down. There was two conifers and another big tree, and then where the shed is going to be. And then there was another tree at the other side of the garden, which was like looking like a big gust of wind and it'd go into the neighbours. So that one's had to come down. And then another neighbour's tree, which is just stunningly beautiful. Branches were taking so much light off our garden, so we've had that cut back as well. So the next thing hubby tells me that needs doing is the ground needs levelling, which he was going to do himself, to which I said no way. I mean he's retired now, so this is why he's really keen on working on the garden. So I said absolutely no way, Jose, are you going to dig that level that out. So we're going to be getting somebody in to do that for us. So there we go, that's on there. You can see that lovely effect. Do you know what I think I'll do? Looking at that, I'll get some of the rock candy. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on there. Just a little bit, sort of around the edges, just like a little bit of sea spray there. Just gives an extra glisten to those rocks. There we go, that's Tim Holtz, well, Ranger Distress Rock Candy Crystal Clear Glitter. And it gives a twinkling sparkle. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And I'll bring you back once that is dry and see what we're going to do next. So that is the bit of garden there that's going to become my craft room. It's sort of behind those big plant pots and that bush with the white flowers on, behind there, but in front of the tree you can see here. So it's sort of all this area. It's going to be quite big. So it'll be a craft room and a room to store the things that I'm selling on eBay. Not eBay, Etsy. I do put one or two bits on eBay, but Etsy's my main route. So that should be really nice, and I'll be out there in the garden doing my crafting. He's going to put me like a patio on there, like a wooden veranda, so I can have a rocking chair and a table and things, so I can sit out in the garden and craft too. Okay then, so we're here for the final bit of the tag now. These are some of the things that I've got together to go on top of there. I've just been playing around with a little bit of the gilding polish, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. This is the journal, the Wharf Babies journal, which I've got all wrapped up. Because it's got a silk cover, I don't want to damage the cover. So I want to keep the tag pretty flat. I can see why I've chose these colours, because they just go lovely with the colours of the vintage book. So this will go in here somewhere when it's finished, and the others that I made as well could go somewhere like that. The others that I cut, I'll make some more. So it could go in there, see? That'd look nice in there, wouldn't it? Right, anyway, so I need to keep these tags as flat as I possibly can. Oh, I'll leave that open. I will leave it open. Right. Thing is, when I start thinking, I can't talk as well. So you must think, why has she suddenly gone quiet? Right, so that's the diamond glaze, and it's got some sparkle on where I put the Tim Holtz candy sparkle on. Candy, what's it called? Rock candy, the Tim Holtz rock candy. So what I've done is I've got some of this purple gilding polish. Oops, got the little brush, little blending brush, and I'm literally just put a little tiny bit on and just, sorry about that, going down here, and it's just catching, the gilding is just catching on the embossing that I did before, because the main sticky out part of the embossing is on this side of the tag. So I'm just going to go over all of that. And I thought, well, we see purple in water, don't we? We see purple in the sky, so that'll go nice. I was thinking of gold, and I thought, well, no, let's just be a bit different, and let's have a look at the purple for a change. I just love building up the layers and practicing and experimenting, and sometimes it doesn't work out. You know, not all of my videos, it's not what things haven't worked out on all of my videos, but on some videos it just comes all together beautifully. Right, so that is that. Just pop the lid on this so it doesn't dry out. So then I chose these. So I had to look through my Tim Holtz things because I want to keep it flat. I chose these. I thought my little girl sitting there on the rocks looks great. And this is one of the Tim Holtz layer frames. And I like this because it looks like the little watercolour paint samples. So how I thought I'd display this is to put this on. And then I thought I would put the little girl sort of coming out of there like that, so her head comes above that. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've got my ink here, my vintage, good old vintage photo. So am I too close there? It's been another absolutely glorious day today here. I'm still really suffering from jet lag from Sri Lanka though. You know, I can, oh, there's a big blob of purple on there, we don't want that. Let me just cover that because I don't want that all over my work, do I? So yeah, it's beautiful weather, and because I'm still suffering a little bit of jet lag from Sri Lanka, if I sit in the sun, I seem to go really, really tired. So my bedroom is a real sort of sun trap, and so when I go and sit in my room, which I do quite often, I like to go and have a read and what have you. But I keep nodding off in the sunshine. There's a little bit of purple on there, but it's not freaking me out. I don't know if I'm too close. Right. I know, this is what happens when you go on holiday. Do you know, when I go to America, I've no problem coming home. So when I travel west to east, yeah, west to east, I don't really have a jet lag problem, but travelling east to west, I really, really do struggle with that one. Right, that's that one. It's my little girl, and she's cute. This is Tim Holtz. Yeah, I'm like awake every night. I'm waking up, well, early hours of the morning, like 3:30 in the morning, because that's like 9 AM Sri Lankan time to me. So that's what I've been used to for 3 weeks. I can't stop waking up. And I keep trying to get back off to sleep at 3:30 and it doesn't happen. So then I might get up and do a bit of washing and ironing, because I've got that much washing and ironing. I understand now why my mum always used to get a washing and ironing done while she was on holiday, but I just don't see the point of doing your washing and ironing when you're on your holidays. Where's my little, here it is. In fact, I'm just going to use these little tiny scissors and just cut them. So I've not got those square corners there. I've just cut those as well, can you see? Just nip those a little bit. So yeah, I don't see the point of doing all your washing on holiday, but it means I have to face mountainous piles of washing when I come back. Anyway, right, let's put some of this on here. A bit of fabric tack. So if that is going to go, she is going on there, that is going there. Just line her up. She's sat on the rocks there. You could always put, I suppose, some gold, like rub and buff on there if you want to carry on with that gilding polish theme. I put that under there. I'm just going to go round. So we're looking now, we're going to try and get, now that we're retired, one great big holiday a year, so we're looking now for next year. So lots of brochures arrived this morning, so that was really exciting to have a look. But the people who we met on this holiday were slightly older than Russ and I, and much better travelled, as we will be when we're the same age as they are. And our bucket list now has gone like from just a few, maybe half a page, to about 6 pages long. There's so many places we want to go to. That's lovely. Now my feather, I didn't know whether to sort of, because it's flat, didn't know whether to sort of cut it a bit just to get some, you know, a bit of dimension into it. I was just going to stick a feather over the top of it. Let's see what I think of this. But I'm out tonight, I'm going to the church. I don't know, I called it the church. I'm going to church tonight, and I'm there all day tomorrow on a course, so I'm going to be triggered. One place I did see in Sri Lanka though was the Good Karma Hospital. Did you ever watch that on TV? I love that programme. So it's set in Kerala, but it's actually filmed in Sri Lanka, and it is actually a teacher training college now. So can you see I've cut all those? So I'm going to give them a little yeah, it is a teacher training college now, so we couldn't go in it, but I saw it from the outside. So I was like so excited to have seen it. The people on a tour on our little coach were like, nah, I've never seen it, don't know what you're talking about. So, but there's a guy at Church Barry, and he loves, well, they don't make it anymore, but he loved the great the Karma Hospital as well. So I can't wait to show him that I've seen it. There we go. That's nice. Now what I'm going to do is, I want to tag shape this. I'm going to cut off there. Then I'm going to take this to flip it. I shouldn't really be using those little scissors. They're my embroidery scissors. yeah, I normally do much more mixed media things on my tags, but because I want to keep this book as flat as I possibly can, this journal as flat as I possibly can, I am trying to keep all my tags as flat as I can. Just here, our little dog having a bath. She turned 1 on the 2nd of April, so 2 days ago, and she's just, oh, I don't want that to come out of there. She is just so gorgeous, and she knows she's just a little terror. So I know there's little bits of paint on there, but that doesn't bother me. You can see the vintage photo on this side. On the, in fact, let's just give it a little rub over there to help that embossing show a bit better. There we go. Now what I'm going to do about that, because I don't want that to come out. I'm going to have to put something on the back of it. Ah, yeah. Got to pay to the order of. That would. Oh, she's getting told off now. She's obviously up to something. She's having a bath. She's just been for a walk around the. That's nice. She's just been for a walk around the lodge, so I've no doubt she will have been in the lodge. So as soon as I've done this, I need to go and get ready for change for church. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I want to put a hole here, and I want this shell. I love this shell. This I bought in the United States when I visited in January. I'm lucky, aren't I? Did United States in January and Sri Lanka in March. So I want to put that on there. So I need my little machine. Here it is. To punch a hole out. I've got these turquoises and purples and greens. Just you see the greens, they all look so beautiful together. Right, so now I want to punch my hole. Let's look for the middle. Put that in there. This is this. I can't remember what it's called, this. There we go, that's nice. Oh, I am so tired, but I'm determined not to go to bed. I've been up again since about 3 o'clock half three I think this morning. And then this afternoon I went to listen to my book and I must have dozed for 10 minutes. But I'm absolutely not going to bed. Oh, I think I'll use some of this colour. These are some silks that I hand dyed myself. Right, so let's get the book. What do you think? It's lovely, isn't it? So that is going to go in there. Oh, look at that, and she's just perfect in line with that there. So this, let's have a look. I want it to, I'm going to have to cut it there because it's a, you know, where the silk's been stitched together. So I want this to come out of here and dangle there. So if I tie that around, cut that about that length. Gosh. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking or saying because I just feel so incredibly tired. It serves me right for holidays, going on these holidays. But we've done a lot of India now, and we've done Sri Lanka, so we've decided our next holiday is going to be a little bit further afield. So I think we might treat ourselves to Borneo sort of in about 18 months' time, because we really do want to see the wild orangutans. Now then, let's put this. Let's get this. It's only actually a gilded shell. I bought this and thought, you know, I could do that myself. Gilded shells. Let's see if that'll push through there. So while I was in Sri Lanka, I was collecting shells, so I could do a bit of gilding. Right, so what I need to do is just sort of tie that on to there. My daughter's actually coming to church with me tonight. She's not been for a while, so when she said, oh, I'll come, I was a little bit taken aback. So, do we just leave that like that, or do we tie that onto there? What shall we do? Do we just leave it like that? Come on, tell me. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. I think we're going to just tie those together there. It's nice to be doing some paper crafting, because I've been doing that much with my bottles and dolls and things. It's nice to just get back and do a bit of paper crafting. I've been letting my fingernails grow, so the longer they grow, the more difficult it is to paper craft. Now that be like that. Yes. So that will fit in there. This little money wallet that I made. And the money wallet is just fastened onto there with this lace. That's there. So when the book closes like that, then this will hang out. That's really nice. And that sort of matches that blue as well. So there you go. So I hope you have enjoyed this video on how I made this little sort of mixed media tag. And I hope you like it. Please comment. It really does help my channel. I'm trying so hard to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please subscribe as well. That would be absolutely wonderful. I'm into the 900s now, so I think I need about 80 more or something like that to get to 1,000. So please subscribe. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment. I read all the comments and I promise I will answer. I'm really pleased with that. I hope you like it too. God bless and see you soon.